Hello, welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 269. See, I can tell I'm getting old because I'm like sitting farther back, but I have to like really open my eyes.
You squint.
Well, I open, but, I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It's October the 5th,
It is.
2015, which is the first day of Spinzilla,
It is.
year number 3. Third time's a charm.
Yes, the year we shall win it all.
Which is evidenced by the fact that Laura's spinning instead of knitting, because she's hardcore. Plus, her evenings have sort of been taken away from her this week.
That is true too. But so speaking of the spinning, there might be a little bit of ambient noise because I'm spinning on my Lendrum, and it makes a little bit of a click as it goes around. So
I couldn't hear it, so.
okay,
And I'm noise crazy, so we should
You
be
are
all right.
crazy. But all right, so would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
I didn't touch, so it's been 2 weeks since we've recorded, and it's been
Yes.
2 weeks because I was out of town in North Carolina in the mountains where there is no cell phone service, which I found out when my data roaming maxed out on day number 2 of 10.
Oh,
So that was super fun. But
that is not super fun.
there was Wi-Fi at the hotel and at the place where I was working, so it wasn't terrible. But like trying to get directions while you're driving in a place you don't know without data doesn't really work. So anyway, we tried to record while I was out of town, but I was on hotel Wi-Fi, which is not really meant for,
Recording on Skype.
yeah, streaming video recording. So we tried, it just didn't work. But I did not take my sweater with me, the Rolling Rock, because luggage space was at a premium. So I took some smaller things. The first is some yarn from Nomadic Yarns.
Nomadic Knits, yeah.
It's Nomadic Yarns, yo.
Oh, dude, I'm totally wrong.
And this is the Twisty Sport Base, so it's an 80/20 merino nylon superwash sport base, and it's in the Rhinebeck sweater weather.
Colorway, I like that one.
She gave us one in fingering weight to give away. So
Really?
we won't do it this week. Maybe the week of Rhinebeck. No.
Well, I'm gonna order some. It's on my list. But I'm not ordering yarn this month until I get to SAF. Like, I'm purchasing yarn at SAF. That is my thing. I was trying to be good last month, but I fell down in the we had an update. Southern Cross Fiber.
Well, that's not technically yarn.
It is not technically
Yet.
yarn.
It's pre-yarn.
It's not even here yet, so I don't think it counts till it actually arrives.
And this is living in one of my Tom Ben bags. This is the one that came with my Tom Ben Swift bag. And it's got a clear bottom.
Look at that. That's very fancy.
Pretty snazzy. So this is the sock. I really, really love these colors. Sue's bought Skeen and then sent me the link. A tricky little snob that she was. So then I bought some before we talked about it. Yeah, they're all like you wait like 3 weeks to get it. But I don't mind. I mean, it's not like I'm going to run out of...
Probably going to be like 6 weeks.
Well, maybe. I had originally wanted to wait until Rhinebeck, and this would be my Rhinebeck, like, knitting.
I think this will be fun to wear to Rhinebeck, though.
It's so pretty that I don't care. And it's only the first sock, and I'm going to do a true afterthought heel. So I'm decreasing for the toe now. And I with Spinzilla this week, I don't think I'm going to get a lot of knitting time, so I'll probably still be working on number 2 at Rhinebeck.
When is Rhinebeck? Next weekend?
Not this coming weekend, but the one after that. It's always the 3rd weekend in October.
Okay.
So, and I'm knitting, this is a sport weight, so I'm knitting it on 2.75 millimeter needles, which is a US size 2.
I'm laughing because I started some sport weight socks, which they're in my purse, which I'm not gonna, they're not even, they're like a toe. But like sport weight for me, like it was a big deal. I had to go up to like I got to go up to 1.5.
Mm.
So, like that was like 2.5. That was a big deal.
You knit loose and I knit tighter, so.
I know, it's funny.
So anyway.
Explaining my giggles.
I'm knitting the toe, so I'm decreasing, nothing super fancy. I also took, I was browsing through, I don't even know where I saw this, but there's a pattern called Mitered Crosses, and it's by Kay Gardner. Laura's knit it. I know Callie from Dramatic Knits has knit at least one of them. I think she's knit more than one.
Yeah.
And it's basically, it's a block pattern. It's by Kay Gardner of Mason-Dixon Knitting.
It was originally a fundraiser.
They still...
Was it Japan's disaster relief?
I think it was the tsunami for Japan. Let me pull it up because I've got it linked in the show notes, so I can just click it and it'll tell me.
So fancy.
So just from this pattern, she's raised $22,000.
It's a great pattern too. She's got another pattern that she came out with a couple years later that's a similar like fundraising thing.
This is all the proceeds are, so not just percentage, but all of them are donated to Mercy Corps, an international relief and development organization. So I don't know what made me look at it again, because it's been I mean, I've seen it around, but I never really had the desire to do it.
Set up handspun. Are you doing it on handspun? Oh, look at you.
So I've had several people have been kind enough to either swap handspun with me or give me handspun as a gift, and I wanted something where I could incorporate everybody's into one project.
Yeah.
And I initially thought of doing like some giant shawl, but I can't wear a giant shawl for long. I get hot really easy. So I decided what I would do instead was to make the mitered crosses. And I like to pretend like this was my idea. It totally wasn't. I saw somebody else did it on Ravelry.
There's been a couple people who have done it out of handspun.
So
you know what also would be now I'm repeating myself. Man, I've been at work all day. So you know what would also be a great blanket to do out of handspun? That Tin Can Knits V1, the flying V1.
Yes.
That came out. Anyway.
Or the pop one with the circles.
Yes.
That would be a great one out of handspun.
Or the Vivid, which you did already. Anyway.
So
I have a feeling some handspun blankets are going to be about our future.
The way that the pattern is designed, the majority of each square is in one color, and then this little bit on the corner is in the border color, so it sort of flows into what you knit as a border.
That's right. I totally forgot that there were those ends too.
Yeah. But I didn't want to do it that way. I like the idea of a plain block of handspun, and then I'll do like a gray fleece or something that'll sort of tie it all together.
I love it.
This just happened to, I ran out of yarn there, so I happened to add on some more. So I've got, most of these are out of handspun from Darren of Knitting in Circles, and it's the double rainbow from Into the World.
Pretty.
I bought this for him at one of the events that he didn't go to, and then he spun it and then gave it to me at the following Rhinebeck. So it's cool. So I've gotten several different blocks out of it. The only downside of this is that you end up with, if you do this version where you don't put a separate color on the corners, you end up with 8 ends to weave in.
Yeah.
For some reason, I had gotten it into my head that this was one of those brilliantly modular ones where it's like a log cabin where you sort of cast on at the corner. It's not. I mean, I'm sure that there's a way you could sort of do it, but that would change the way that the squares are oriented.
I changed the orientation on some of the squares.
You did. Unintentionally, but yeah, because it's one you made was for Wheezy, right? It's in their RV or camper or whatever.
They were releasing it the other day.
So
you might hear them come in too.
Oh, cool.
I told them to be quiet, but
they don't really listen because they're grown-ass people.
Yes.
So
6-year-old folk who do what they want.
I got
for years now.
I got 5 squares done. Most of them were from that one skein of Double Rainbow, except this one right here is the beginning of a skein from Sadie. And it was
Malia gave you hand spun too at SSK.
She did.
Dude, you wrapped it up.
Um,
So how
Wicked,
many total skeins do you have?
I think 9.
Wow.
Yeah. And it might be something I make more than one of because I'm sure that like I'm not going to never get hand spun again, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's a really easy, super easy pattern to remember.
It is.
Once you've done one, you don't need to look at it again.
That's right.
So I've enjoyed it. Most of what I knit while I was at the casino opening, which was where I was this week, where I was on grave shift, was super fun. Most of what I knit were those squares because it's super easy garter stitch. You didn't have to think about it. And I could drop it and not worry about messing it up. So anyway, that's what I have been knitting on. What about you?
Okay. So I finished some stuff, but what I've been primarily knitting on have been 2 projects, both of which are out of Plucky. So the first, and of course I'm in the middle of a row. I don't know why I put this down last night in the middle of a row, but I did.
You were ready to go to bed and get up at 4 a.m. and start spinning.
That's very true. Plus I was kind of grumpy with it at that point. So this is Grace. It is the very start of a raglan cardigan, so you can see the sleeves are in stockinette, and the front parts are in lace.
The top panels on both the front and back are like a simple lace, right?
Simple.
I don't mean that in a nasty way. I just
no, they're in lace. It is like a simpler lace, but you have to be able to read in order to do it.
Well, and you're doing increases in the lace as well, so that adds some complexity to it.
So, I was knitting the 44, and I've been looking at projects on Ravelry, and a lot of people have said the sleeves are too tight. So, I was going to add increases to the sleeves anyway. So I was going to, you get to a point and you stop increasing and you just knit till it gets to 8.5 inches.
Right.
But this measurement for me, where my hand is, that's 9.5 inches. So I'm already going to have to go longer. I think. It's so weird because then you cast on more stitches when you get to the underarm. So like you increase at the underarm point, which is like right around where my upper bust is. So I might be okay. Anyway, it's got 4 inches of negative ease, and then I was looking at my actual measurements that are not the pretend ones in my head, but the actual ones.
Not the ones that'll totally block out.
Yeah. And I am like 45 inches around. So doing a 44 with 4 inches of negative ease, I crunched the numbers, it comes out to actually 39.5 is the size that I'm knitting in actual measurements. And I know that the lace is going to stretch, and that's why it's written there. I don't know that it's going to stretch 5 inches. Like, that is a lot. 5.5 inches. That's a lot of stretch. So I'm going to continue, but there's only 8 stitches difference between the 44 and the 46.
Oh.
Yeah, 8 stitches at 6 stitches equals an inch. So it's actually like
8 stitches in each section? Or
no, total stitch count. So I'm going to go up and increase to the 46.
That makes sense.
I'm going to continue increasing because now I'm like super worried about it. And too loose. I want to wear something underneath it anyways.
Right.
It's a cardigan. So
I just got a mental picture of you rocking that into school with nothing underneath.
Yeah. And then I'd be sad. So, yeah. So anyway, this is the yarn. It's Plucky. This was my one that won the golden ticket. Yay!
Oh, cool.
I just happened to grab that. So when I ordered this, they were doing like an anniversary.
Right.
And one of mine had a golden ticket underneath, so I got a skein of snug worsted for free. Anyway, so that's all the Plucky. All 4 skeins are living in my awesome fat squirrel bag. Which has A Wrinkle in Time and Little Women and From the Mix-Up Files of Mrs. Basil Frankenweiler, which are like my 3 favorites on it. So that made me super happy. So that's living there. I am 6 inches in. I'm going to go to 9.5, continuing increasing until I get to the 46 measurement. And then after that, you like increase here. And then it's just a straight shot down to waist decreasing, which happens 2.5 inches after you switch to stockinette. And then it's just a straight shot down. I have to have it done by the end of November for
Your Harry Potter
owl
thing. Yeah.
yeah. So halfway point, what I put the halfway point was the body being done. So that is well on its way. The other thing I have on the needles is so teeny tiny. I started it, but then I didn't like the beads that I had, so I had to order beads, so I'm waiting. So this is the Boonitz Mystery Shawl. I'm knitting it out of Plucky again. This was Rose Stash. I think she might have sent me this one. So it is old school. I didn't even know I had this until I was going through lace weight, because I don't go into my lace weight stash very often. It's not something that happens, and it was underneath all the Volmaza lace weight. So it's a 55% cashmere, 45% silk.
Ooh, I bet that feels lovely.
So I'm doing, Boonitz has a mystery shawl. So I'm doing that, but the only beads I had were like this bright red. So I ordered some, yeah, I don't know. I ordered some copper beads. So those will be here. It calls for 1,000 beads. And I just didn't have anything that, like, that's 3 of these. So I just didn't have enough of any other color.
You're doing a mystery beaded shawl. That is trust.
1,000. Well, I like her stuff. Boonitz.
Yeah.
I've knit some of her stuff in the past, and I've really liked it. So that's all that I have on the needles. Finished object-wise, I finished.
Oh, look at you.
And they've actually been finished 2 weeks, so I have to send them to Amy. These are out of White Birch Fiber Arts. They were knit on size 0s. They are Afterthought heel socks. And they are for my friend Amy, who's Ross Farms.
Mm-hmm.
She won them at SSK, and they are done, and I will get them in the mail after Spinzilla. She's traveling anyways. And then the other thing that I finished, I'm just grabbing stuff, is the Mini Water's Edge for Alice.
Oh, that's super cute.
So it's got the little, the buttonhole likes to hide too, which I really like. There it goes. So I put the buttonhole in the I-cord. Ta-da!
Super cute.
So
now, is this a Christmas gift?
this is Christmas.
Okay.
I still have her birthday sweater to knit. But this one's Christmas. And what I did is I knit 4 rows of stockinette for the edge treatment, and then did an I-cord, applied I-cord bind off, and I bound off 2 stitches right at that point where I knew that I wanted to put the buttonhole. And then when I did the I-cord, I just detached, because it was attached.
Right.
Attached for 2 rows and then reattached it. I made a cute little buttonhole. I might have to use that again in the future. So that's about it. Yeah, it was almost in the last time you guys saw it. So cute little short sleeves, and I did everything kind of different. But I think I talked about it pretty much last week. So that's it for me for FOs, or those 2 things.
So this isn't really knitting, but it is crafting, and it's my show. So, I'm going to show you guys. So, when I go to Rhinebeck, I stay at this group of cabins with, I want to say there's like 5 other cabins, plus there's, a small block of rooms. And, most of the folks that go there, last year we did a handmade ornament swap. So everybody brought enough handmade ornaments for the other people. I want to say it was like 7 or 8. And then we swapped. So we each got, 7 or 8 of our own hand knit ornaments.
That's awesome.
And I thought it was a cute tradition. And
what did you do last year?
Last year I made little quilted,
so they're handmade.
like a non-patch, everything. It has to be handmade. That's the only rule. It can be any craft that you want. I made little non-patch squares and embroidered Rhinebeck, like with the machine, embroidered Rhinebeck, 2014 or whatever, and added a ribbon so it could be hung. It wasn't anything fancy, but I waited until the last minute.
Fancy to me.
So this year I wanted to sort of get ahead of the game, and I knew what I wanted to do. I just had to figure out how to make it happen. So if you're in the ornament swap with me and you don't want to get spoiled, then just turn it off for a minute or 2. So what I decided to do was I got some linen and I embroidered a little mittens, and it says it's an RB Rhinebeck 2015, and there's like 10 or 11 this year people.
That's a lot.
We crammed more people into the cabins. So the way that I did it was I drew on this water soluble transfer paper,
Yeah, and then it'll just disappear.
and then I embroidered over it, and then once I soak it in water it'll disappear. So I've got like 10 of those, and each one's a little bit different just because I can't draw. So it was all sort of messily done. So what I did was I ordered some 3-inch embroidery hoops, the wooden ones,
Oh, cute.
and I'll stretch the fabric over the hoop, and then I'll stretch it into the back, and then I'll cover the back with one, like a circle of fabric so you
Belts,
can't
yeah.
see. And then a ribbon through the little embroidery screw thing. So those
They're
I'll
almost
probably,
done.
yeah, they're almost done. The hard part's over, and that was the actual embroidery. I did that. I tried to do one each night while I was out of town because they only take about 25 or 30 minutes.
But that's a lot of time when you're talking about doing it for 11 people.
It is, yeah. And I could have done something simpler, but I really liked the
I like
idea,
it.
so
I like it. It's super cute.
I wanted to do it. So I'll show you guys. Hopefully next week I'll have at least one done, because I ordered the hoops, and they should be here this week sometime. So
Cool.
that's really it. I've done a little bit of spinning. The only spinning I've done has been today. I worked at home today because I got home from North Carolina last night around 6.
Yeah.
And because I worked grave shift, I had to switch my sleep schedule once while I was there, and then again yesterday. So I'm still a little punchy, trying to get back onto day shift.
Yeah.
So I worked from home today.
Did you find out if you're going to get comp time?
I find that out tomorrow when I meet with my manager.
Cool.
But tomorrow I'll also have to drive to Chester, Pennsylvania,
Chester's the winner chicken dinner right
to
there.
get my relicensing done for the gaming commission there. So anyway,
Okay. Yeah.
I've filled, well, I say filled, all that I'm spinning for Spinzilla primarily is going to be fleece, because it needs to be spun.
So boring.
It is boring, but it needs to be done. And I can do it faster than I can do, like I can do long draw a lot faster than I can do short forward or short backward.
Uh-huh.
And long draw works really well for most fleeces. So I spun 2 bobbins worth today, almost.
Wow. So how
Um,
many ounces? Like 8?
No, probably. Well, I guess yeah, it would be if they're almost full.
Roundabout.
I didn't weigh before I spun because it's all coming out of one giant bag of fleece.
Yeah.
So this is Cormo. You can't really tell. It's got a couple of little fuzzy balls in there. I picked a lot of it out as I was going, but I'll pick more out as I apply it together. It's fleece, so it's not going to be perfect. It hasn't been through machines to make it perfect.
Little nips. It happens.
So
Especially with the finer fleeces. Nips
it's.
happen.
I really like the Cormo. It's really springy. And then I'm also spinning some Coopworth, which is a longer staple. But
How's that
it's
long draw good?
yeah, it is going well. I mean, not as well as Cormo because it's a little bit longer. The staple is longer, so it makes it a little harder, but still pretty well. And that one I have to do like a semi-supported long draw because occasionally I'll get like clumps where the twist doesn't enter right, so I have to stop it.
It's where you.
Yeah, you like tap it on and off the tension.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to do that more with the longer staples, just to help everything even out, but it's still working pretty well.
Oh, now I'm messing up my spinning.
Well, good, because you have to talk about your spinning.
Okay. So right now I am spinning some Romney from Hello Yarn. It is the Light as Feathers colorway. It's really pretty. It's got like a greenish yellow and a aqua blue and then like a navy and then there's that purple. So it's a Kent Romney long lamb's wool. And I have several of these, not this colorway, but several. It's the same base that David of Southern Cross Fiber has. So several of those. So I have a fluff bucket full of that. And just a little bit. I mean, I've just been spinning since I got home from work at 3:30 on this. So, just a wee bit. There we go.
It's pretty.
Thank you. I'm enjoying it. And then what I finished before Spinzilla, well, I have other Spinzilla spinning on the wheels. So on the Shocked Reeves, I have a Romney fleece that I washed, like, someone sent me just a bag of fleece. It was Continental Kim, actually.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
And it's just like 3 ounces. So I'm spinning that just from the lock, and I'm long drying that. But I don't have like a table next to that wheel, so I can't like have a coffee cup or anything.
Right.
I don't have a cup holder for that one. I don't know that I'd want a cup holder for that wheel.
I wonder if they make one and where it goes. I'm totally going to look that up right now.
So before Spinzilla started, I wanted to get stuff off my bobbins. So I got off the Southern Cross Fiber Knobby, which is a Bond silk blend that I've been showing for a while. It's around 450 yards of a 2-ply. So that finished. And then I cleared off, like, I had little bits of fleece on a bunch of bobbins. So I cleared all those off, but they're nothing special and they're hanging. There's Cormo, Border Luster.
Don't say they're nothing special. They're fantastic.
Cormo, Border Luster, and CVM. So it's just like little bits and pieces. How are you going to ply? Are you going to do a 2-ply or a 3-ply?
I think I'm going to do a 2 on mine just because I can already tell it's too thick for a 3-ply if I want anything less than a worsted. And I'd really like more like a sport or a DK.
Yeah.
And it's going to be in a sweater, so it doesn't need to be like super duper hard wearing.
Yeah.
It will pill under the arms, which I'm aware of, but
okay.
They do not make a cup holder for that wheel.
Okay. You can always, I thought they did for every wheel. You can always add more twists as you ply, and that'll keep it more locked in a little bit. And the other thing that I have on the sidekick, which is in the kitchen, which sits beside the kitchen table, so there is room for, for me to set stuff beside it, which is where I had coffee this morning, is I woke up at 4:30 this morning. So I went to bed, like, super early yesterday. I went to bed at, like, 8, and I had taken a nap during the day, because I knew that I wanted to get up really early, because Spinzilla started at midnight.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get a good hour, at least an hour worth of spinning in. And between eating breakfast, I had some chocolate chip Lego My Eggos, which are like my favorite thing ever. And then some pumpkin spice coffee. Between those two things, I probably only got like an hour of spinning in. I have around an ounce of Cordale from Into the World spun. So my goal for today, because I'm crazy pants, is I'd like to get 10 ounces spun today, and then start plying tomorrow. Oh, I also spun on a spindle at work today. So the Joanna Spring little batlings that I got from her that I showed a couple weeks ago, I took one of those batlings to work today and got a whole one spun.
Wow.
At work. Yeah, totally. The internet went out. Actually, we lost power sometime between 8 p.m. last night and this morning, and no one knew how to reboot the internet.
Okay, Reboot the Internet is the title for this week's show.
And so, like, it took, because it just affected, usually when the internet goes down, it's like countywide, like a server goes down.
Right, because it's a server, not your local, like, modem access.
Yeah, so we lost power in our local modem access, aka the internet went down.
Your LAN versus your WAN. LAN is local area network, and WAN is your wide area network.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, no one knew how to reboot it.
The LAN? Sorry, I'm being a jackass.
The internet. So, the internet was down all morning long, and then our tech guy finally came and fixed it. But there's so much stuff that I do on the internet that I don't, like, I check in and out books on the internet. Like, I have a web-based program.
But it's probably your local intranet, right? Or is it?
No, it's on a county server.
But, I mean, could you access it from home?
I couldn't until this year.
Oh, so they must have converted it. Okay.
Yeah, they switched it to, I don't know. So now I guess I can. but I don't do work at home.
Well, no, I get that.
So, you know. Oh, I totally sat my wheel back down on my roofing.
That'll impede the process.
It will. I don't even know what we're talking. Oh, the internet being down. So the internet was down, so I got time to spin because I shelved all the books, and then I was like, "What do I do now?"
Yeah.
So I made some signs for the library, and then I started spinning. So I'm a terrible employee, but the internet was down.
The internet was down.
Tomorrow, I don't know that I can use that same excuse, but I'm planning on taking the spindle again tomorrow.
You never know when you might find time.
Friday, I'm teaching the art kids how to spin.
Oh.
AKA, they're going to watch me spin.
Which wheel are you going to take?
Probably the sidekick. Just because it's the most portable of wheel. Usually when I teach the kids how to spin, I take the mini spinner because it's really easy for them to learn, but I don't think that I'm going to allow them to do anything because if they break my mini spinner and I have 2 days left of Spinzilla, super selfish, then I'll be really irked at them.
Irked.
Upset. Yeah. I'm typically irked, but anyway, I'm going to take a fleece and we're going to talk about their clothing.
That's cool.
So I'll take some woven samples and some knitted samples, and then I'll have an excuse to spin in between classes when that teacher is on break. So, awesome sauce. That's about it for me. We have some things to review.
Yeah, we have just a little collection from Ambah O'Brien.
Super cute. And I love that it's all inspired by Aboriginal walkabouts. So it's the Songlines Collection. It's a $15 RAV download. She did something else that you knit. What was it?
Lily Pilly.
Yes.
Which was a 3...
This is really pretty. She does a lot of 3-color
shawls. A lot of multicolor shawls. This one is 5 different shawls, but all of them in this collection are 2 colors.
No, that's not true, I feel like.
I'm pretty sure it is.
That's totally not true. There's a 3-color right on the front.
Show me.
That's 3 colors.
No, it's not.
It's got a light gray, a black, and a pink.
Nope, your eyes are broken.
My eyes are not broken. It says 3 colors. Main color, contrasting color 1, contrasting color 2. That's 3. Stop trying to mess with me.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Anyway, the one that I liked that is 3 colors is the wrap.
I totally thought they were all 2 colors.
No, multiple ones are not. There's multiple ones that are 3 colors.
Shut your face.
There are some that are 2 colors. I think there's at least one that's 2 colors.
Anyway, so this is the Songlines Collection by Ambah O'Brien. It's $15 on Ravelry for the digital download. And she's going to host a giveaway. We'll talk about that in a minute.
So it's inspired by the songlines of the Aboriginal peoples of Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do like the Alinta wrap, which is the first one. It's got pink, white, and black, otherwise known as 3 colors. But they're all a very unique construction, which I really, really like.
Yeah, she doesn't really rely too heavily on a particular method of construction, which is great.
There are some provisional cast-ons and techniques like that, as well as 3-needle bind-off. So there might be some new techniques, which is great. It's an opportunity to learn some new things. They are larger wraps. This one is 79.5 by 19. They have great schematics. With like the starting edge and how it works out.
Right. And how it looks laid out. I like the Carinya wrap, which is pinstripes. It's also a 3-color.
I let you say it that time.
And it's lace weight. So
yes.
It's, let's see, 768. It's 1,600. It's almost 2,000 yards of lace weight. So it's a big shawl.
Yep.
But
it does again have a 3-needle bind-off.
But it can be worn so many ways. I love the styling that she does. I do wish that each one had a long, like what it looks like when it's totally laid flat. Although you're never going to see it that
Oh,
way.
well, it's
So,
hard when you've got a big piece too.
right. And if you're
Like
only
you have
going
to
to,
stand on a ladder to photograph it.
yeah, and if you're wearing it, it's never going to look like that. She's showing you what it's going to look like, which is a positive thing.
There's 4 different ways that most of them are styled, which I
Yeah.
really appreciate. I really like the Polano shawl as
I
well.
love the back of that.
Yeah, because it's so different. Like this is the back. It's striking, and she uses two colors in this one. This is the one that I was referring to that had two colors.
And I think this one is cast on with Judy's Magic Cast On. No, it's the Turkish. She uses the Turkish, but
Okay. And it's a DK weight, so it would go fairly fast.
mhm.
That one I was actually going to cast on for Plucktober, but because it's DK, I didn't have enough in my stash.
This would be fun in contrasting colors of hand spun.
Yes,
My only problem is most of my hand spun tends towards the same colors, so it wouldn't be. It would be harder for me. But yeah, with DK weight, it's 600 and something yards total. So I mean, you could knock that sucker out pretty quickly.
And then there is
Tolara.
yes, which uses two skeins of one color, well 702 yards, and then 240 of a contrasting color. It's a fingering weight. It's 90 inches by 17. So it's really more like, I don't even know. It's kind of a
It's like a stole, sort of.
yeah.
I love that the eyelets, it almost makes it look like there's a third color in there. The way that the eyelets are done.
Yeah, well it's a crescent shawl, but it like the eyelets just make it look so different than the crescents because they're going the opposite direction. It's really
Right.
really
The crescent shape like a horseshoe, but the colors are going in the opposite direction, so there's that visual contrast.
yeah.
Um,
And then there is the Yindala shawl, which is a 3-color shawl. I see you staring at me. I'm just saying what it is. I'm not making a point. Even though you were wrong. I'm just saying what it is.
so she does, again, give great schematics and telling you, so you can visually see how the cast on fits with the rest of the pattern, because sometimes you have to just trust the designer. Like, it doesn't make sense at all, but then when you put it all together, it's like, oh, okay, now I believe you.
It's a fingering weight shawl using 3 colors. It's 84 inches by 20.5 inches. And is that the last one? It is.
It is, yeah. There's
I just want to keep going.
I know. I would like to see.
Damn, I wish there were 10 more patterns in this book.
I think she could make some really great like accessories. So I'd really like to see like a whole collection from her.
I'd like to see her get a book deal with someone like Interweave or
Cooperative Press.
Cooperative Press would be another good one. Where my parents just walked in, if you can hear jiggling, because I totally can.
Jiggling?
Like keys.
Oh.
Do you like my key sound? Simple keys. Jiggling arms. I don't know. Yeah, I wish she would publish even more. Although I follow her on Instagram, and she has a new shawl that is going into testing soon. And it's really, really pretty as well. So.
Yeah, and her Instagram account is very inspiring. She does a great job of staging the pictures and making you want to be knitting her items.
Yeah.
I think she's an up-and-comer. I think we're going to see a lot more of her.
I agree. I like her stuff a lot. Lily Pilly, the one that you did, was really, really pretty. Too.
Yeah, my old boss, I just got my boss replaced with a new boss like a month ago. But my old boss was at this thing out of town with me, and she commented like 7 times on how much she loved my Lily Pilly. So I'm going to have to make her one, because I loved her lots and lots. So I'm going to have to make her one.
Did she move to another position in the company?
She did, because the person above her had been the person above her for like 10 years, and they butted heads constantly because one person was like all metrics and rules driven, and the other was like, let's just make things work. So, yeah, so she's
Did they break the internet?
They did not break the internet. Anyway, so that's Songlines Collection. Again, it's $15 for
Which
5
is low, but
patterns.
that's $3 a
hmm
pattern.
And she's also going to give away 3 copies of the
Oh
collection.
wow, that's
Um,
awesome.
there's a link in the show notes for how to get to that giveaway. We're not going to host it on Rav. She's got her own system. It's going to ask you if you want to join her newsletter. You don't have to. You can if you'd like, but you don't have to participate in the giveaway. So
the giveaway is linked in the show notes.
yeah, and I'll link it again in the Ravelry episode
Okay.
thread. So that way, no matter where you go, you should be able to see it.
We're gonna skip the question for this week because my parents are here, and I haven't seen them since SSK. So
Okay. I was only like an hour and a half from them while I was out
know,
of town, but
they
they weren't there.
you could have visited, and we're at 41 minutes anyways because we've been chit-chatting a lot. Because I haven't seen Leslie in 2 weeks.
No.
It's been very sad. So you've listened to a bunch of stuff, and I've listened for a bunch of stuff. Well, I've read a bunch of stuff.
Yes, so I listened to Throne of Glass, which is by Sarah J. Maas, and
I read her new book yesterday.
yeah, you told me about that.
Throne and Roses, which is kind of like a Fae retelling of Beauty and the Beast.
There is something about Fae that if I know ahead of time they're in a book, I'm not interested at all. Which doesn't make sense because I'm all about paranormal, but for some reason, I don't know. Maybe I've just read too many bad Fae books. I need a good one. But I'm listening to the second in the Throne of Glass series, which is Crown of Midnight.
Oh.
I just started that one yesterday on my trek back to back to Atlanta. I forgot to say that because my data had maxed out, and Sprint said there was nothing they could do for me.
On your unlimited data plan?
Because I could get phone and texts would go through regardless. Like, it didn't matter that I was roaming. They would let those through. But they won't let, like, being on the internet or data going through. So I had to look at a map before I left to figure out how to get back to Atlanta. You know where this is going, right?
That's so lost.
So because of where this casino that we were opening was, it was in North Carolina, but it was just over the Georgia line, like 20 miles over the Georgia line.
That sounds like it should be a song.
I know, right? So I had to fly into Atlanta, rent a car, and drive 2 hours to get to this place.
You probably could have. Never mind.
Um,
Like Knoxville might have been closer.
I don't know. The company has its own travel thing, so they did it all.
Yeah.
So on the way back, on the way out there, I had data, right? Because I didn't even realize that was going to be a problem. And I didn't buy navigation for the car because I didn't realize that we could buy navigation for the car because it was a company, everything was, the company paid for everything.
Yeah.
And of course, when I got there, I read an email that said you can get navigation for your car. Well, it's too late for me at that point. But anyway, so I looked at a map before I left Sunday morning. My flight left at 3. I had to be at the airport by 1, but it was a 2-hour drive, so I really needed to leave by 11. So just to be safe, I left at 8 because
Yeah.
it's me.
If you've been on a trip with Leslie, that's a good call.
Getting lost is a standard for me, at least once. I don't get upset about it anymore. It just is. So somehow I ended up in Tennessee.
But also, like, you'll go into Philly and it'll be like the Mummers Day Parade.
Seriously. Thanks, Gwen. But so Atlanta was due south of Murphy in North Carolina. Tennessee is not south. Tennessee is west.
No, it's not. It's east. West.
Of where I was.
Yeah.
But I ended up in Tennessee. And I saw the sign, "Welcome to Tennessee," and I was like, that is not
You are right by
accurate.
Mom and Dad's house.
I know.
You were so by their house.
So
If you saw a vape shop for the cows, you were at their house.
So I turned around, had to track back 45 minutes, and I got to the airport at the same time as people who left 2 hours after me.
Did you get on the tail of the dragon, I wonder?
I have no idea.
Was it a super curvy road?
Everywhere in the mountains is a super curvy road.
No, there's this road in North Carolina, Tennessee that's like a lot of turns within a short period of time, and a lot of motorcycle people ride it, and so do like the Mini Cooper people. Did you see a lot of motorcycle people or Mini Cooper?
I saw a couple of people who were out of town. They were in town for the John C. Campbell Festival.
Yeah, which got canceled.
Got canceled because of rain. I was really looking forward to it, but it is what it is. Anyway, so on the drive back, that's when I started listening to Crown of Midnight. I downloaded Canticle for Leibowitz to go next.
I read that in high school.
Yeah, you told me you really liked it, and then I should try it. So I got it on that Audible $4 sale like a month ago, and then I'm
curious as to what my parents are doing.
I'm sure your mother's cleaning something or
they're doing laundry.
Oh, okay. So I've been reading a lot of paranormal and fantasy and romance lately.
You can come in.
Is it Mama Linneman?
Yeah. We're recording the podcast.
Hi, Mama Linneman!
She can't hear you. Leslie says hi. Alright, I'll see you later.
Yep.
I love your mom.
You just got more love than I did. Like, she's been seeing me in 3 months.
Well, she's got you after this, and I don't have her.
We're going out for Mexican. I'm going to eat nachos.
I'm so jealous. Anyway, so I started...
It's just part of the reason why I'm spinning like the wind now.
So you can get that time in.
Yeah.
One of the ways that I find new books, because I read really quickly, is to look at Amazon reviews of the books that I like. And
you should get on Goodreads.
I am on Goodreads, but Amazon is just a wider audience. I can get more, like, instant, I'll find somebody who really wrote a great review on a book that I liked, and then I'll click on their name, and then I'll look at all the other books they've reviewed and find other things that they really liked.
Smart.
So
I do that on Goodreads.
That's how I found this series called Cut and Run. And so I bought the first one without even really looking to see what it was. It's a male-male romance. And it's this whole series of male-male. Like, it's 8 books, and it's the same 2 main characters in them. And it was really freaking good. It was, a lot of great tension between the characters, and it was well written. It wasn't trite. It was really a good series. So I read that in like 6 days.
Oh, wow. The whole series.
The whole series.
Wow.
The last book was kind of meh, but aside from that, they were all pretty
I
good.
hate it when the last book's meh.
Yeah.
Like, end the series on a high note.
And then I downloaded Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. She's the one who wrote, she's the blogess. That's her internet name. And she wrote Let's Pretend This Never Happened, which was a really funny sort of memoir on depression and anxiety and her crazy family and all that. So that's going on my list. And I pre-ordered Allie Broch's new book, the one, The Hyperbole and a Half Lady. She's got a new book coming out next year.
Really?
Called Solutions and Other Problems or something like that. So I pre-ordered that. Oh. Anyway, what about you? What have you been reading?
I am sending a sample of Cut and Run to my Kindle.
You totally should. I'll let you borrow them if they're borrowable.
Oh, okay. I don't think they are. Stupid Amazon. So, I've been reading a ton of YA stuff, because I need to read YA stuff. So, I finished The Revolution of Louisa May, which was really, really good. I read a graphic novel. I love graphic novels. They're super fast, called Baba Yaga's... I don't know why I put Yaba, but it's Yaga. Like the, Oh, if you've not read, there's a Baba Yaga, like, paranormal romance series, too. Those are really good. But this is not that. This is a kid's book. It's a graphic novel, and it's Baba Yaga's assistant, and it's about a girl who, it's kind of like a labyrinth situation. Like, there's a new family, like, she's a stepchild, and she, her grandmother would tell her these tales of Baba Yaga growing up. And so she runs away, and Baba Yaga's like a Russian witch who lives in a house with chicken feet. She's very much like Hansel and Gretel's witch.
Yeah.
So she becomes her assistant. She's got to do all these tasks, otherwise Baba Yaga's going to eat her. So that was good. Short read, like hour and a half maybe. We had last Tuesday at work, we had a guy come who works for one of the Memphis news channels. He's one of the meteorologists. So he was talking to all the 8th graders about being a meteorologist and how they do weather stuff. Michael would have been
in hog heaven, yeah.
Yeah. So he would have had like 800 questions. So I listened to his speech once, and then I was like, yep, I'm done. So I went in the back room and read and did some blind date with the book forums. But I read that. I read Lost in the Sun, which was really, really good. It's a Lisa Graff book. It is about a boy who is playing a pickup game of hockey, and he hits the puck, and it hits another player in the chest, and the boy's killed. He's got a heart defect.
Oh.
And it takes place like 6 or 7 months later, and it's him trying to deal with the anger he has at himself over killing this other boy, even though it was a total accident.
A fluke, yeah.
He blames himself. And he is keeping kind of like a art journal, and this girl who's got a scar across her face decides that she's going to be his friend, and it's getting over a tragedy, but also he's got a lot of family issues. His parents are divorced, his dad's remarried, and they're expecting a baby, and when the baby's born, he's got so much anger, his dad won't let him hold the baby because they're afraid he's going to hurt the baby. So it's like, I cried at that point. Like, it's such a good book. It's one of, I've been reading a lot of the Newbery.
Yeah.
Like, this might be a Newbery winner. There's always people who publish lists, like, what they think are going to be the Newbery winners. So that was one on that list. It was a Junior Library Guild recommendation as well. I finished The Last Necromancer, which is a paranormal romance. That's really good. And I read one of her other series as well. I finished reading The Hired Girl, which was another one on the Newbery list. It is by Laura Amy Schultz, who's won Newberys in the past. That one was pretty good. It is about a girl who, she is a farm girl, and her mother dies, and so her dad makes her quit school, and all her and her mom wanted her to do when she grows up is to be a teacher. So she has to drop out of school at the age of 14. She has 3 books that she like reads every night, and that's the only thing that gets her through her life. And she decides, because her mom used to get the egg money to spend on whatever, you know, the household needed, she decides that she wants the egg money, so she goes on strike, and in retaliation, her father burns all her books.
Oh, God.
And that's the catalyst. She leaves home, she runs away. Her mom had sewn like $29 before she died in her doll's apron, which was a fortune back then. She uses it to get on the train. She's living in Pennsylvania. She goes to Baltimore, is kind of like by a fluke ends up on the street just for one night. And she's sitting there crying. She doesn't know what to do because she's 14. And a nice gentleman comes up and he's like, I can't leave you here. Come be a maid in my mother's house. And she ends up as a maid, a hired girl in a Jewish household. She's Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't know about anything to do with Judaism, and it goes through, it's kind of a diary format of like dealing with her being Catholic but also living in a Jewish household. So it was really good. It could have been 50 pages less. Like, I would have liked it better if it was 50 pages less. It's not one that I can really see myself recommending to my kids, just because my kids don't read a ton of historical fiction. It's not their jam as a whole, but it could be not their jam because I don't recommend it a lot. So I'm going to try recommending this one. But it'll be interesting. That's about it for me. I'm reading right now Circus Mirandus, which is another Newbery possibility, and it's about a boy who lives with his grandfather, and it's got a great opening line. He's describing all these old women in the neighborhood as being kind of like chocolate cake and sweaters on the inside, but his aunt is not. She's more like cough syrup. Which like is a very vivid image.
Yeah, visceral.
Yeah, like it's really great. So his aunts come to live with, his great aunt has come to live with him and his grandfather. His grandfather is dying, and his grandfather has always told him these tales of the light bender and the Circus Mirandus and how he owes him a miracle, and the circus only appears if you believe in it. So it's, I have a feeling it's going to be another sad one. Oh, and I also read another graphic novel, so now you get 2 weeks of me reading. Oh, what was it? It's the new Jennifer L. Home. It's about a girl who's sent to live with her grandfather, Sunny something, and Sunny Side Up. And it's written by a brother-sister author-illustrator duo. and this girl's sent to live with her grandfather in Florida in a retirement community for the summer, and it flashes back and forth. It takes place in the 70s, and it turns out she was sent away because her older brother, who she idolizes, got hooked on drugs. And it was based on a biographical situation that happened with a brother-sister team and one of their older siblings, it sounds like. So it looks like it's super happy-go-lucky on the cover, and it's
But it's not at all.
I need to stop reading depressing, but like I've been reading a lot.
You just have to like space them out better.
Yeah. I was hoping Sunny Side Up would not be super depressing. But
it sounds like it would be a happy book.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad because she's living with her grandfather like on a pull-out couch, and he's got emphysema, but he continues to smoke, and she's always been like the quiet girl who never says anything, and it's her finding herself and the power to say, "Hey, you got to stop."
Yeah.
And it ends. The flashbacks end with her brother actually hitting her. So, because he's drunk.
Okay, no more sad books for you. You're depressing me.
I know. I'll move on. Anyway, so favorite things. You did a digital detox, which means you have tons of PMs stacked up, don't you?
Probably. While I was out of town, I did not look at Instagram once, so there is absolutely no hope whatsoever of me catching up.
No. Because it stops after a while. You can only go back.
You can only go back so far before it just stops pulling information.
I think you can go back you can go back further if you click on individual people.
And you might be able to go back further if you do it on your computer versus on your mobile device. I don't know. But I honestly just don't care enough. So I'll probably get back on at some point this week. I have steadfastly refused to get on Periscope.
I need to Periscope tonight, and I'm teaching Mama Linneman about Periscope later because Lynn, Jess, and I for Spinzilla are Periscoping every night just
That's
for
cool.
like 5 minutes, just to show what we've been working on.
Anyway, so if you have emailed me or messaged me in any way in the past week and a half, I probably haven't answered you. I will. What else? You took a natural dyeing class.
I did. I took a natural dyeing class at the Memphis Botanic Gardens, and I dyed a lot of stuff. So using madder roots, I dyed the skein of DK weight yarn. So madder root gets you kind of a reddish orange. It was one of the last. It has to sit for a long time, and we didn't have a whole lot of time left on this one, but it is kind of orangey. Mm-hmm. So that is the madder roots. A lot of them is kind of like making tea.
Yeah.
I also, let's see which one this in is. I think this is Cosmos. Yeah. I closed the show notes because I wanted to see you, and then, yeah. All right, so this is Cosmos, and it came out like a yellow. That's one of the tea ones. It's a bright yellow. I really like it. Then there was the black beans.
You can dye with black beans?
You can. I need to rewash this one. It's kind of crunchy. But it's kind of like a... That's not it. Is this black beans? Let me think for a second. No, this is the black beans. Yep. It's like a bluish.
Huh.
So that one's the black beans. Yeah, you let them sit like for 2 nights, and then you just plop everything in the water. And then pokeweed. So this is the fermented pokeweed. No, this is the regular pokeweed. And this is the fermented pokeweed. Pokeweed smells terrible, by the way. And that one's a cold dye. The black bean was a cold dye as well. And then the one that I worked on primarily, which is is elderberry. And it's supposed to be like a bluish gray, but it did not come out that way. That, like, you have to smush all these berries, and then you add salt, and then you bring it to like a slow boil. But I need to rewash. I've re-rinsed all the yarn. I didn't wash it. So this one's like, and it smells, they all smell like tea for the most part. Like herbal tea. But it was fun. I went with Eloise and Joanne and Gail and Holly. Memphis Holly was there. And a bunch of other people. So it was fun. Is it something that I'm going to do all the time? No. I'm not
okay. You
someone
don't have
who
to love everything.
Well, you know, if like magic plants appeared, like I'm not a hunter gatherer, and I'm not a gardener type person. That's why I eat plants. I like to kill them. So, I don't know that it's something that I would really get into. I did order though a copy of the new natural dyeing book that's coming out. It's by the woman in A Verb for Keeping Warm. So I wanted to see that. So I went. It wasn't one of our normal publishers who send us stuff. So I went ahead and ordered it. It might have been a Melanie Phallic, perhaps. I don't know. So I'm cool with like reading about stuff, but I'm not. I don't know that that's something that I'll do on a regular basis. I don't know. Anyway, it was interesting. And they had other choices too. Like Eloise was slicing walnuts. I told her not to cut off her fingers because she was making me nervous. She was peeling walnuts with a knife, with like a paring knife.
She is a grown woman, though. I bet she's probably done it before.
I don't know that she's peeled walnuts, but yeah, I'm sure she's done it before. But yeah, it was interesting. You have to mordant them beforehand, so you have to add like cream of tartar and alum to make the dye stick. So it was interesting. Interesting thing. And the woman actually, I knew her. She had gone to Hank of Yarn, so I had met her before. So that was kind of cool. The lady teaching the class.
That's cool.
And she might come to my knit night because she wants to learn how to spin. So I was like, I've got lots of wheels.
That you do.
Hopefully a new one soon. Come on, Shocked. I'm following Shocked on Instagram now too. Just in case they put any hints up there. So Gail's Sock Club started. The sign-up started October 1st. She has awesome sock blanks like this. And I sent Leslie hers already, but this is the first one. And the sign-ups are on her website, and you can find all that information on her website. And we have it linked in the... No, we have Jessica's show... we'll link it in the show notes. It's not right now. It was linked on the sidebar because she was our advertiser last month. But if you're interested in sock blank clubs, that's a good one. And sign-ups did start October 1st. Mm-hmm. We have our Halloween cast on all the things going on. Create all the things, craft all the things. There we go.
Craft all the things.
Craft all the things. So we've got lots of cool prizes for that, and we'll be showing even more of those out later. And then we did, we are getting so many good ideas for, is it Patron?
Patreon.
Am I saying or Patreon? I always want to say Patron. I think that's cooler. But,
well, we're not an alcoholic beverage, though.
That's true.
We are intoxicating, but...
Are we?
Yeah, so we just wanted to thank everybody for both your ideas on items that we can offer, or just ideas for services. That's a good idea. Laura and I have also come up with a few. Just with me being out of town, we haven't updated Patreon yet. If you missed the last show, Patreon is a way for you to, you have the opportunity to contribute a certain amount per episode. To help us offset costs of like my hard drive has to be replaced. It is 4 years old and it's an SSD, so it's way past its life. It needs to be replaced. Postage for prizes. There's one that I want to put up where Laura and I have toyed around with the idea of offering a second event, a smaller, more focused event, but we have to have funds to travel to find the place and all that. So we have a lot of stuff that we're going to be adding to Patreon in the next week or so. But we just want to thank people who have offered ideas or have offered their support and genuinely say thank you, because, you know, it's your money. You have lots of choices of what you want to do with it. And for those that can't, nothing's going to change for you. Absolutely nothing. You're still going to get a show every week. Nothing's going to change. Just for those that contribute, we're going to try to find ways to offer more.
There you go. So thank y'all, and thank y'all for watching us, because we know that there are lots of shows out there.
More every day.
Yep. Yeah. For sure.
So,
All right.
thank you lots and lots. You guys have a wonderful week. You give Mama Linneman and Wheezy a hug and a kiss for me. And
I will.
we will talk to you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.